so the HEMI swap Jeep Renegade pulled out of the garage under its own power for the first time with almost no incident. So yeah, if you are pulling your car out of the garage for the first time, make sure you disconnect the winch cable that was connecting it to the wall, or you're gonna have a bad time. I guess this is the perfect time to go over the build, kind of a build breakdown, see where we are, how far we've come, and still what we have left to do. I know it's not quite roadworthy yet, but we're getting there. First up, if you're not familiar with the build, it started out as a 2015 Jeep Renegade. I did the wide body flares. That's all custom fiberglass built by hand. I did air ride suspension all the way around, custom suspension. So it was a stance build, bag, wide body, camber. But it had a stock 2.4 liter engine and it just was not very fun to drive. I kind of jokingly said the only thing that would make it fun to drive is doing a HEMI swap, and here we are. So I picked up a 2016 Charger RT from Copart auction. It was totaled. I rolled over, hit a telephone pole. Really not sure what happened, but it was a mess. I was able to pull the drivetrain, engine, rear end, subframes, all that, and the entire wiring harness, all the electronics, the ECU, everything. This is all Charger. There's the computer there. Everything, ABS module down there. This is all essentially almost a body swap of a Renegade on top of a Charger. Not quite though. I did have to modify the actual frame rails. So these are Dodge Charger frame rails right here. That is a Charger strut tower. You can see it better over here. That is a Charger strut tower, but since the Charger is much longer than a Renegade, I had to relocate those strut towers back 4.5 inches. I also had to relocate the front suspension 4.5 inches back also in order to get the wheel well lined up into the, or in order to get the wheels lined up into the wheel well. What's up, Harvey? What you doing? Oh, you want some rubbings? Oh, you want belly rubs. All right, you get some belly rubs. Yeah. All right. Back to the build. So I guess we'll do a quick once over. Most obvious thing here, we got the 6-piston Brembo brakes and Hellcat rotors, 2-piece rotors there. And these are factory Hellcat wide body wheels. They are replicas, so don't hate me too much. These are temporary. I'm throwing on a different set of wheels shortly. Probably do that very soon. Now that I'm looking at the wide body, it doesn't really fit these wheels. We got a decent amount of camber, and we are making contact right there. So unfortunately, I mean, we were replacing that anyway. Unfortunately, it's going to happen a little sooner than I expected. So before I drive it, I'm probably going to have to raise it up, possibly, or just run it without fenders. It looks kind of silly without that though. So we'll figure that out. I might even chop it. Those are being thrown away anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Back at the engine, this is the stock 5.7 liter out of a Charger RT. I did do Texas Speed Stage 4 cam, Holley high ram intake, and not a whole lot else in there. Mostly tried to keep it stock-ish. I do have plans for... That's not good. That probably rattled loose from vibration. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to do a nut and bolt check on this thing because it's sat for years. So we're finally up and running. I'm sure things are gonna work themselves loose. I'm sure I forgot to tighten some things. So we'll find all of that throughout this whole process here. Definitely have to make sure it's safe before I put it on the road. So yeah, back to the engine. Holley high ram intake, Hellcat throttle body, custom 3D printed intake tubes. Accidentally ordered massive filters off of Amazon. So I don't know. They were a little bigger than I expected, but they fit. And you know, you have to do something about the heat right now. There's not really enough room for heat shields, but we're gonna have to do a little bit of protecting, at least some shrouds on the backside there. We got plenty of air being able to come in through the front because I opened the grills up, but that's just gonna heat soak on the backside there. So stock engine mostly, stage 4 cam, MDS delete, and you can kind of see down in here, not really, but suspension wise, all AAD performance billet aluminum suspension, front and rear uppers and lowers. Not only do I have the AAD performance suspension, I also got the conversion kit from them as well. So I had 6 pistons, and on the rear I went ahead and put the 797 performance 4-piston rear brake conversion on there. Bolted right up, no issues at all. Really good kit. So, oh, also aux beam lights. Sun's going down so you can actually kind of see them. And speaking of lights, we have the headlights are actually wired up down where the fog lights should be, because the aux beam 9-inch lights are way too bright for daily driving. But good feature, this white light here actually goes amber for turn signal, so I have daytime running and turn signals built in on both of those lights. And since we're up front, this front bumper is going to be replaced. This is the bumper from the 2015 model. I'm going to put the 2020 model on there, but it won't be stock. I'm changing up pretty much the bottom half. I got something in the works. I probably haven't posted a sneak peek. Yeah, I might throw it up right here just so you guys can get an idea of what I'm doing. But it'll be a Hellcat inspired front bumper, wide body flares. Got to do side skirts, kind of tie everything in, and then rear flares. The wing is also going to be pretty aggressive. I want that sticking back at least past, or at least flush with the back of the car. So, but yeah, those are friggin' wide. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to put any power down, but at least it's there. All right, and taking a look inside, we got the fuel cell here. That's all aluminum fuel cell, bed line and whatnot, but we have the in-tank Holley fuel pump and sending unit, so works just like a factory fuel pump sending unit. That way I have actual indications on the dash for, you know, tank being full or empty. And all these lines are actually tied into the evap system. Everything is still functional, purge solenoids, all that. And just trying to avoid check engine lights. Oh yeah, headliner. So headliner is sprayed with bed liner, and got the star lights on there as well. And the roll cage, harness bar, not really a roll cage, but bolt in. It's painted F8 green. Eventually the whole car is going to be sprayed that color, but for right now, we'll figure it out. The paint is garbage right now, so it's definitely going to have to be sprayed, wrapped, something. And taking a look inside, it's a mess. Just bear with me. So we do have Charger steering wheel, Charger gauges, but that's a custom 3D printed bezel. So we have air fuel ratio and oil pressure. Oil pressure actually comes in really handy, so I wanted to have that front and center. And then down here we have the batteries. We got 3 lithium batteries from Down for Sound, and that's about it in here. I'm gonna have to figure out how to integrate the radio controls, all that, into a dash. I think the easiest thing would be to put a Renegade dash in here and then kind of make this fit. It's going to be a lot of 3D modeling, 3D CAD type stuff. Try to make it all work. I do have a 3D printer, so that's going to come in handy. And Sparco seats with the harness, hooked to the harness bars. I don't have the factory seat belts bolted in yet. I got to figure that out. The doors are not hooked up either, so nothing on the door functions, front or rear, either side. I'm gonna have to figure out how to roll the window down, because I like having the windows down when I drive, and just so I can hear if anything's going on outside. Man, that's giving serious Fast and Furious vibes right there. Oh man, I still can't get over how this thing is turning out. The next set of wheels, yeah, I can't wait to throw the next set of wheels on there. That might be much sooner than I expected. I was going to do some teaser, I don't know. But yeah, I'm throwing a set of welds on here, just like I did on my truck. So yeah, it is what it is. Man, I think I've been rambling for a few minutes here. I think that's probably about it. Although I was able to pull the car out of the garage earlier, I still have some major issues. The brakes, not happy at all. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the ABS module not letting me properly bleed the brakes. While I had it up on the quick jacks, I was stomping the brakes pretty hard. It was in gear and the rear tires were still spinning. I had to stomp on it real hard before they actually stopped. So I was kind of risking it pulling it out, but nothing bad happened. Also, the power steering is not happy either. It's an electric power steering rack. All the electronics seem to be working. The car did take a pretty good hit on the passenger front side. I don't think that really would have affected the rack and pinion, but it's a possibility. Also, I think it might be just the clock spring. I did take that whole assembly apart, and most likely it's just not aligned. It's out of rotation, whatever. I've never dealt with one of those, so I probably destroyed it. So, yeah, I don't want to put this thing on the road without the power steering working. Yeah, I do have some sketchy stuff going on, but I'm not going to risk no power steering or no brakes before I put this thing on the road. Also, wide body, that's going to have to be modified, or we'll figure that out. I can't turn right now. I'm probably just going to raise the car up because it is hitting the fenders as it sits. So driving, turning, hitting bumps, it would just rip those front fenders off. The rear looks pretty good though. Probably no issues with that. And also clarification on the transmission. A lot of people reached out saying it was probably the doors. I did check that. That was one of the first things I checked. I plugged the harnesses back in because you know, they were sitting in a bucket. So I plugged the harnesses in. That didn't change anything. It never even gave me a door open warning because the clasp mechanism is not plugged in. Kind of a weird situation. The hood open. The way the switch is wired up, if the switch isn't even plugged in, it thinks the hood is closed. So that's it's kind of counterintuitive. So I'm guessing the doors are also like that. If it's not plugged in at all, it just it doesn't say it's open. It just doesn't say it's you know, it doesn't say it's closed. It just doesn't say it's not open, I guess. I don't know, something weird. So we'll get that sorted out. But what ended up being the problem was the transmission. It was about 2.5 quarts low. So I added an external oil cooler and I did drain, flush the system. So when I did that, I filled it, but you have to run it again, get it hot, let that fluid circulate. And yeah, it sucked up about 2.5 quarts. So that's working now. No issues, no damages, nothing broken. So we got that sorted out. I'm yeah, lucked out, I guess. So far, everything hasn't been incredibly difficult. It just takes a lot of time, and just me as a hobbyist doing this on the weekends, maybe an hour here at night during the week, it does take some time. I'm not a YouTuber. I do this as a hobby, and it's fun. I enjoy doing it, and I'm mostly just glad you guys enjoy it too. Posting things up, and it's incredibly positive, which, you know, I enjoy that. It makes me feel pretty good that other people like what I'm doing. Really, you guys have been pushing me to keep this thing going. The motivation, constantly pushing me to get this thing done. And this thing actually fired up. It actually runs. It actually moves under its own power. And yeah, I couldn't have been here without you guys pushing me to get this far. So I appreciate that for real. That's, yeah, no way would this be sitting in the driveway right now without you guys, you know, just keep telling me to get there. So I really appreciate it. So with that, I'm going to let y'all go. Thanks for liking, subscribing, following along with the build so far. I'll see you in the next one.